Hoi there, small fry, and welcome to Itch.io Tasty, the series where we take a random word or term and put it into itch.io's search bar to see what kind of weird, interesting, and potentially good games we find on that particular service. I decided to jump on that Deus Ex Mankind Divided train and milk it for a bit more. It's a bit late. I mean, the game's been out for over a week. I really should have done this last week, but I didn't. So we're all just going to have to deal with that together, aren't we? I used the word Cyborg this week. I was going to use Deus Ex, but that threw up a little bit too much, and none of it looked particularly interesting. Two of them were those, that Deus Ex Machina game, the terrible one with the music, with Ian Drury in it. And I tried Augment as well, but that just threw up a load of VR bullshit. Lots of augmented reality stuff, like tons of it. So it wasn't really very useful. Couldn't really do much with stuff that's more closely associated with Deus Ex, so I went with Cyborg. Bit of a weak link, but we work with what we have, don't we? And I've had to really work with what Cyborg got me. You'd think that would be a broad enough term to really bring some really cool, great stuff to the forefront, but unfortunately, this might be worse than that time I tried to use the word Trump. This might be the worst selection of games. So I'm gonna be nice. Let's be nice. This is a nicer series. No, we're not gonna be mean. So we start with Cyborg Ninja vs Aliens, and it's it's a very interesting game. The art style isn't one that I'd particularly go for myself. I'd also, if I were doing a Plants vs Zombie style tower defense-ish type game, I'd probably make it so that the gun turrets you put down are useful. They've not got a rate of fire that's about the same as a spirit bomb in Dragon Ball Z, do piddly damage, and can't take a couple of hits when an alien inevitably gets near them. Problem with this game is, while it's trying to be like Plants vs Zombies, it's not at all. Ever. And it's more like sideways Space Invaders because you're doing all the work. The only real effective way to stop the aliens is to just directly control the Cyborg Ninja and use a machine gun until the bullets run out, and then just very slowly throw shurikens at them. You can only throw one shuriken at a time, which is interesting because as soon as the shuriken's gone, you can fire again, which means the closer the aliens are, the easier it is to kill them, because you're just then whoop, 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 whoop with the shurikens, whereas if they're really far away, it's whoop, whoop, like that. It's free. It's a little independent thing someone's done. I'm not going to be overly critical, overly cruel, but playing this one did make me sad inside, so I'm gonna have to give this one 2 cracked sunglass lenses out of a beardy man's face. Second on the docket is Jetpack Cyborg Ragdoll Adventure. I have limited patience for these sorts of games. These physics GWOP style games. And when I say limited patience, I mean 9 times out of 10 I can't stand them. The only one that I really sort of enjoyed to any great degree, one of these weird, oh, you move the arms independently of the legs kind of physicsy type games, was Mount Your Friends. That one I enjoyed quite a great deal. This was just frustrating. You're basically using, QWOP to control each arm and leg individually. They've got rocket launchers attached to each one, and you're supposed to just see how high you get while lava or something is growing. If the head is separated from the body, that's when it's over. And yeah, it's a mess, and that's by design. It's supposed to be one of those, oh, you can barely control it kind of situations. But I personally don't find that fun. I found this one distressing to play. It's like watching a horror film where you're yelling that Michael Myers is behind someone and they can't hear you. It's that kind of feeling of disconnected, alienated powerlessness that makes me question my own agency in the world. That's why I'm not a big fan of GWOP-style physics, weird limb movement games. I mean, it's built well enough. You know, it's simplistic, but it doesn't have to be particularly complex. And again, being free, it's something you can do if you want to waste a minute or two of your time. But not for me, thanks. Not for me. So I'm going to give this one 3 augments on your pre-order. We're past the halfway mark already. That's how few workable games that I could talk about were actually found this time. This is Strife. Apparently it's a Cyborg FPS arcade action game where you have to, and I quote, strafe like a psycho. I don't know how people with diagnosed psychopathy strafe, whether that is different from other people. All I know about this game is it doesn't make much sense at all. You're strafing, but whether or not you take damage seems to be arbitrary, and it's just not a very good game. I'm sorry. It's imagine if Superhot didn't have the whole central mechanic of time moving when you do, and did just move at real time, and didn't look as good and wasn't as good as what was one of the best games of the year. So just imagine, actually don't imagine Superhot at all. This isn't Superhot. This is Super Not. Just came up with that off the top of my head. Didn't even pre-write that one. How about that? That for a great goof. This one gets an augmented scrotum with planned obsolescence out of 10. That brings us to the King of the Wood, the final offering for this week, and by some sort of default, the pick of the week. It's pick of the week because I guess it's the closest to being a video game as we can understand it. It's got a story and some progression and some puzzles, very trial and error puzzles. It's taken the sort of very simplistic visuals that it's got and worked with it to create something with a sense of style, even if it's not a sense of style that one might find particularly edifying or even particularly unique these days. You got a gun, you're hunting for a cyborg in a house, little weird mousy robots are coming for you. Every time you get quote-unquote killed or something, you're sent back to the start of the house, but anything you've shot and gotten rid of, any puzzles solved and stuff like that, remain. So that mitigates any of the frustration of having to restart in the foyer every single time you're jumped by a robot that came around a corner and was too quick for you to shoot because you got a very slow rate of fire on the gun. It held my attention for longer than any of the others, but that's not saying too much. I didn't get too far into it, mostly because there was no toilet paper in the house, and I really needed to do a poo and a wee, and so I went to a shop and got toilet paper, and then came back and played Attack on Titan, and then didn't do anything else with my day, even though this was going to go up yesterday. I didn't do anything else with my day. That's why this is going up this morning, and why I don't have much else to say about the King of the Wood, even though it's the pick of the week. This one gets, I don't know, an Adam out of Jensen. I'm not doing a Deus Ex One again. And that'll do it for this week. That was that. I'm sorry, everyone. Not a great selection of games this time around, but there's always next time. Itch.io is a big place, a vast wilderness, with hidden gems, and more than a few little bits of coyote shit hidden amongst them. So we will pick through the feces of the wild dogs to bring you the glittering jewels that you've come here to enjoy. Until next time, get itchy, stay tasty, my friends. I'm not doing Deus Ex again.